guys? It's your boy TG, and yeah, it's good to be back. One more week. Jake, you tell me if I'm too loud because sometimes I get
No,
excited. I may hurt you.
no, you good.
Look, you're a ball player. You've heard this before. You got look. Let me jump into it. I'm your host TG, and alongside with me today across the screen, Jacob Heyward. Y- you probably heard the name ring a bell. Not only with the San Francisco Giants, but you probably heard if you're in the local area with the Richmond Flying Squirrels. You probably heard of it there, ring a bell here and there, and probably may have, if you parked in the outfield, may have looking out one or two of your windshields. I'm not sure. Welcome, Jacob. Thank you for coming out. I know your schedule's busy, and I know your time is a little bit behind us here. If you could turn to the side, but I'm not going to do it. It's dark outside, but you got some sun on your side of the
Yeah,
phone.
yeah. I'm in Arizona. Appreciate having me, TG.
Oh,
As he just
so
describing the way.
viewers, thank you for joining today. I know you guys will be filling in on this side of the park if you're watching at 7 o'clock. So we're gonna get right into it. So, how first off, how are you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while, but I'm like, let's jump back into that one.
I'm well, man. I'm well. Enjoying the all season right now. In Arizona, I've been going back and forth here and there to the facility to help some guys out with the camps for the Giants. Now that I'm coaching, so just been enjoying the all season and trying to spend as much time with family as I can.
Oh yes, look, it's around that time of the year where not only we just got over the spookiness with Halloween, but now we're like getting into all the festivities. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, where I think everybody will put on a pound or two, then we end back into the gym one more time.
Right.
We'll stay there till Christmas, and then Grandma brings all the goodies, and then we add that pound back on. But uh,
Mm.
first off, look, I want to get right into it. So tell the people that's watching at home who is Jacob Hayward.
Uh, Hopefully a good person. I pray to be a good person. Um, Former baseball player. I played baseball from the age of 5 to 27 years old, and um, now I'm in the coaching realm, coaching with the same organization that I came up with in professional baseball, and that's the San Francisco Giants. Um, so yeah, that's kind of me summed up a little bit, and where I'm at right now is definitely different from where I was a year ago, and I'm blessed to be in that position.
Perfect, perfect. So we'll get right into it. Look, I like asking individuals that question because they give me like a whole different story, and I'm like, well, throw my paper out the window. Let's just make, let's do the whole nother interview. But no, you hit right onto the marble. So we're gonna get right into it. Like you said, you played starting at 5 years old. More of the people they start with the T ball off the tee, and you're just like, Dad's just grateful, or granddad or whoever's in your life, they're grateful that you just hit the ball and it rolls down the field, and you probably turned to go to third base instead of first base. And then you're like, oh, okay. Now when you look back, you kind of go, man, did I really do that when I was a kid? Did I really run to third base? Everybody's been there, done that. But
Right.
so share with the folks that's watching some of your most, well, not even most, but your favorite childhood memory that inspired you to pursue sports.
Hmm. Um, well, I say it's probably my favorite as a kid. Thinking about it now is I was 8 years old, playing the Roberto Clemente World Series in my hometown in Georgia, in Medina, Georgia, and I we had a home run derby competition, and I ended up winning the home run derby at 8 years old, and it felt good to win, and it felt good to compete, and ever since then I just want to keep going and try to have fun and compete.
Wow. Wow. That's right there. It's enough. Now, I
Mhm.
do see that not only as you and your brother kind of punch your ticket into the league and all of that good stuff that comes behind it. I mean, mom and dad must be very, very proud. Family in general is very,
Right.
very proud.
We try to be. We try to be. Everybody enjoys the process, and we're trying to learn and get better as people, as human beings along the way.
Perfect, perfect. Now, with that, with you going into the league, your brother as well, he's playing with the Dodgers. Now, how does that impact your overall community where you're from? Like to see that, I mean, you're a positive role model for the children that's like, man, I hope I can get there one day. But you're the light at the end of the tunnel.
Right. To be honest, I think where my brother and I grew up, we had a bunch of talent, sports wise. So obviously, we make it to professional. We made it to the professional stage, and not everybody had that chance. But other guys went to top D1 colleges and found their way through life, and it was cool. So like for me, I think it's big to obviously support the younger people, the people below us, but my brother and I just definitely let a good path for everybody else to kind of hang on and ride, join that ride.
Yeah, I mean, seeing many athletes come back from where I'm from in Lynchburg, it's like you see a few of the guys like Mickey Fitzgerald, you see the guys like Andre Kendrick, and so on that pass the rank and go, and you're like, man, if I only could be like them, have a place in a university named after them or whatever, if it's a town or not even that, just be a role model for a next child that's trying to go there, and just say, man, I wish I could play baseball at the pro level, and
Right.
that's what they need. A lot of communities sometimes don't get to see that, and some of them do. It's just when they do, it's like, wow, that child has something to look up to.
Right.
But yeah, I greatly appreciate that. Now, I'm gonna creep into it. You went to the University of Miami. Like I'd always tell you this. Like I talked to Meacham from the former Saints receiver last week in football. Now, university wise, I know you got to tell me about a time that you had playing baseball with those guys. I mean, the Hurricanes.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible, right? Like I spent 3 years of college at Miami. My freshman year, um, we're kind of a rebuilding team, right? We had a couple older guys on the team, um, and we hadn't really made a real run in the playoffs in a long time. And if you're a Miami Hurricane fan or if you pay attention to college sports, the University of Miami is pretty prevalent in sports. So we had a lot of pressure on us, but we ended up that freshman year we ended up winning the ACC outright in regular season. So like winning that, understanding the competition, understanding the level that it takes, the level of effort that it takes to win something, it definitely propelled us to go along and keep doing that. Because the year after that, my sophomore year, we ended up going to the College World Series, and then my junior year, we go to the College World Series. And I would say my favorite time was probably my sophomore year when I was playing in the College World Series, and I think it was 3 for 3 with a 2-run home run and a walk-off single to win the game. So it was definitely a blessing, and it was probably the coolest experience I had being in Miami.
Wow, that's a story. Like you said back to back champions. You went back to back those two.
So yeah, we definitely we won it back to back outright. I'm pretty sure my freshman and sophomore year. Um, I want to say we won. I might have came second outright my year, but regardless of the fact, we were always top 10 in the country after my freshman year.
Oh, for sure. I mean that University of Miami. That's like it's just like saying like Alabama at football.
Hmm.
Like I'm just saying, I'm
Hmm.
just saying, it is what it is.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
But look, you took that trip around the bases in Miami, and I know the weather was probably always nice except for if it was raining. It never got cold. Like you probably like, yes, I never have to worry about it getting cold here. But
Right.
with the rain is probably another thing. But let's jump right into your big moment. Major League Baseball draft. I mean, like I told Meacham, if you recall from last, if you ever looked at our show from last one, Robert Meacham got drafted in the first round with the 27 overall pick. Now I'm
Mhm.
talking in baseball terms. You getting drafted, and you can probably share with me the emotions and excitement you and your family and friends that were with you at that moment of getting that call or getting that message that you just got picked up from the San Francisco Giants in the 18th round. What was going through your mind when you heard that?
To be honest, what was going through my mind, I was actually in the dugout because we were still playing in season my junior year. We were still playing, we were in the regionals, so I think either regionals or super regionals. And GM, he runs the baseball operations in Miami, and he came into the dugout and told me, "Hey man, you just got picked up by the Giants in the 18th round." And I'm like, "Wow, like that's cool. Like I've thought it's something I always wanted to achieve, but at the same time, I had my focus on playing the game. So it was a good experience. It was cool. I don't want to say I was able to soak it in like everybody else, but at the same time, I think it was a blessing to be able to say, hey, I'm playing in a super regional right now, and then say somebody just tells me I got drafted, and that's a blessing in itself.
Now, you said you were in super regional. Was you in the midst of a game and the coach
Yeah,
comes?
I was there. It was during the game. Yeah, it was
Oh
during
my!
the game. Yeah, but it was during the game. I want to say we were winning by a lot, so it definitely took a little bit of weight off my shoulders.
And it didn't get to soak into probably when you got after the win, and then you got back in the locker room and you're just getting through your normal routine of the shower, whatever, not and
Right.
going to get food, and you probably got home and probably like, did they just get picked up? Like that's when your excitement probably overcame.
That no, most definitely. It was definitely a little bit delayed, but it was all worth it.
So with that, with getting drafted, now if you could take me through that process after getting drafted and then going through your camps and whatever not that you had to go through before you actually got to play in the legit game. Can you walk us through that? How if it's a tedious process or if it's just like quick, easy, and smooth?
It was pretty quick for me, because most of because we ended up going to College World Series that year, and we were playing into what, June, June or July, something like that. And so, once I finished my season, I just went straight to Arizona, went to Scottsdale, signed my contract with the Giants. I think maybe a day. I might have had a down day or two, just to get right, and just to make sure I'm physically prepared and prepped to play in the games. But for the most part, it was pretty smooth. It was similar to college. Our college structure as baseball players at the University of Miami is very high level. Um, Professionalism is really key. So it kind of made it easy for me to jump into professional baseball and to go to work every day, to go and do early work, to put the time into practice to get better and get better at my craft. So it was uh it was definitely a journey.
Wow, perfect. Now, having played with the Giants organization for several years, and you did some things there and some great work there, but can you share any highlights or any memorable moments that you have or accomplishments during your tenure with the Giants at the top, and then obviously you played with the Squirrels in Double A as well?
Shoot, being with the Giants, I mean, every affiliate that I went to, from uh Salem Kaiser to San Jose to Augusta, Georgia, when the Giants were in Augusta, to Richmond, Virginia, to Sacramento, California. Every place was kind of, had a little bit special touch to it. But the probably the the biggest time, the best time I had was definitely in Richmond. Think I think a highlight for me would be, the All Star game in, what was that, 2019, and I had, like, my whole family was in town, man. Like, I hit a home run, win MVP, but my whole family was in town. I had cousins, who traveled across the country to come see me play, and that was probably the biggest joy I could ever have, with having my family coming out there and support me.
Oh, for sure. And look, those guys at the Squirrels, and I tell you, that's originally, folks, you're probably trying to figure out how me and Hayward actually met. It was through the Richmond Flying Squirrels, and I was in the group sales side. He was on the field, and then we also the Squirrels family. The culture there was just something different. Much love to those guys at the Richmond Flying Squirrels, and we met and made a bunch of combinations and different mixtures with the different players there. Just seeing the talent that come through. Not only Hayward coming through there, hitting balls into wherever, I mean, home run after this and there, this, and I'm like, okay, if he gets up here, what is the chance that the pitcher has? Like that's what I kind of envisioned when I needed the game to get over with. Because I was like, all right, I'm ready to go home. I'm like, go take get up there, get up there, hit a home run, get us out of here. Do somebody help me,
Yeah.
anybody, please. Um, but no, just I mean, walking through that moment. So looking at Richmond, I mean, that atmosphere there. I mean, 6,000+
Incredible.
a game. I mean, you got Barney walking through and doing his craft, and that guy is amazing. If you ever
Yeah.
stop in Richmond, folks, go check out the Richmond Flying Squirrels. They didn't pay me to say this. I legitly actually really, really do cool.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But to get into it, so you got the ups and downs, the high lows, and far apart. Now, as a pro athlete, what do you find is most challenging? Not even just if it's baseball, but in life general, when you're trying to balance everything to overcome those challenges. What do you do when you hit something? If you're playing in a game, or if you're just like, man, something's in my head, I got to get out before I get to this game. How do you overcome those?
Mhm. Well, first, I think it's a mentality thing. You always got to keep going. There's ups and downs in baseball at every turn you look. So it's definitely about keeping going, and then find the resources, right? Like the Giants organization has really good resources, that can help players get through almost anything, in my opinion. So, use the resources that are there for you. For me, it was, whether it was meditation, or working with our therapist, or whoever, our mental skills, or even obviously my hitting coaches, my pitching coaches, they're human beings first. And people like that really help me, get through the ups and downs. And I think, it's not easy. Baseball's a really hard game, and regardless if you're playing or coaching, you got to find a balance. You got to find a balance from whether it's being at home, uh, creating a good family lifestyle at home, or whether it's creating a good environment for the players and your coaches and your staff on the field, on the baseball field. So, yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Now, Now we got to get into the more bigger part of it. It's the fan base, and I know as a player, not only going from Major League 12, you don't get the most interaction with the fans there in the big stage, but as you go throughout the ranks of not only AAA, AA, you name it. But tell me about experience that you had with a fan, not a negative one, but I mean, you played in Richmond, so Richmond gets pretty involved with their fan base, and probably other
Yeah,
organizations. I just been in Richmond, so that's what I can speak for.
right. I won't put out any names because there's more than one there's more than one group of fans, or more than one person who really treated me well there. But the fan base is incredible. They treat you like family. They come there to support you every game, whether you're 0 for 4 or whether you're 3 for 3. They're the same people every single day. So being around the fans, they give us, they want us to sign their cards, which I have no problem doing. Um, and they also sometimes they'll give you gifts or something that pictures of you playing the sport that you love. So relationships like that are just it's amazing to have, and it's definitely something I miss. I miss
Oh, for sure. And that's, I mean, that's one thing. I mean, baseball within itself, or it's the fan involvement, the fan interactions. You see it on whatever, TikTok, Facebook, whatever. You go through these videos and you see players either handing out their broken bets or whatever their memorabilia that they have, and then you have some fans that are just season long members. They hold a season ticket holder and they're there. And I mean, I
Mhm.
mean, quite a few of my time working in sports, and I'm just like, I still know those guys to the day, like literally friends on Facebook or whatever else, or they follow you and they're just like, "Oh wow, you didn't know this guy would follow you that far," but they follow you. They actually like
Mhm.
part of family almost. So, and those guys at the Richmond Flying Squirrels, I don't know if you even realize it, but you know it. The Diamond, that crew has some of the best in between inning I mean,
It does.
interaction I've been a
Yeah.
part of. Like I mean, granted that I miss those guys, I'm just sitting there going, man, every inning they had something. If it was the Molly drag queens when they try to get me out there. Did you know
No.
they tried to get me out, but that nothing wrong with the organization. I love the
No.
Molly. I was like, I can't do it. They tried. I couldn't put it. I had to go out there, and I didn't get to go out there. I can tell you some other stuff, like the mixed nut race. Well, I can't tell you if I was one of the nuts out there running or not. That's a mystery. You'll have to figure that out
Mhm.
to get hired.
That's right. That's right.
But look, it's a part of going to the flying squirrels and checking those guys out. I promise you, they didn't pay me to say this. I just loved it. But back to it, Hayward. Look, now transitioning. So you went from playing throughout the league from top to bottom, and you had a great career so far with that. And I mean, countless home runs after home runs, and I'm like, is he ever going to hit a ball inside the park? I'm just saying, like what's going to happen here? But transitioning from a player to now a coach in baseball. Now, how has your perspective changed, and what do you enjoy the most about it? Like, I know it's just a whole different viewpoint of the game.
Right. Our profession has definitely changed. You just got to give a lot of respect and love to coaches who are out here grinding their butts off every single day. These people are spending time away from their families to be with another family, and that's the baseball team. And I think the transition's been cool. The perspectives that I'm learning now are really good. And then what was the second part of your question?
And how basically, what do you enjoy the most about coaching this far? Like,
Right.
you in there, you're like, man, I didn't jump into another room.
Right. And it's a blessing to be able to have conversations that I feel like that are beneficial for players. Um, to have a voice in these conversations where people are asking how can we get somebody better? How can we treat this kid better? How can we find a place for him to fit? And for me, the the fulfilling thing about all this stuff is really just being able to be around the players, being able to be around staff. Just baseball is a joy that I've been fortunate to be around my whole life, and I, I love it dearly. I love being out on the field. I love being in the dugout. I love making decisions when it's crunch time. I love competitive. Look at the competitive nature that baseball brings, um, and that's definitely what I would say is probably something that I really enjoy.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, like just looking at the game outside of like the normal fan, it's like, oh, this is boring or this whatever. But that is interesting. Like I love sports all over, so I'm like, I could probably watch golf and just sit there and everybody's like, this is boring, and I'm just going, this is pretty exciting, guys. This is pretty exciting. And everybody else is like,
That's cool.
like, no. But baseball within itself, I mean, if you watch the World Series, it was pretty interesting. It was back and forth. I mean, for the most part in the World Series, but I mean, even though they took him out and sent him home last night, that
Hmm.
play alone, the one last out was like, all right, can they do it? Can they get rid of this? 'Cause sometimes teams can get into that inning and can't get out, and they get
Yeah.
stuck there, and the game is hindered from that point on. And we'll get to that conversation in a few minutes. I think my viewers want to actually figure out, did you think the World Series was going to end the way it ended? We'll ask that question in a few minutes. We'll
Okay.
get so now that I know not only your brother, Jason Heyward, he plays with the Dodgers right now. He's having a
Hmm.
time of his life too, playing. Now, with that relationship that you guys have, how did that not only help you and him with you guys' career? Because you're like, man, my brother plays. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. It really our relationship really got a lot better once I turned pro. Once we started to work out together, once we started to have kind of the same meal plans, the same trainers, and so on. So that we built a really strong relationship in that way, and it's been good to just be a part of both of our journeys. Whether it's me leaving the game, playing, and going to coaching, or whether it's him, fighting for his career and turning things around towards the end of his career. So it's been a blessing.
You do them all the time. Like people, they get in the pros, they do this, they get so busy, they pull away from each other. Like not like that in a bad way. It's just like our lives get pulled away. My brothers, I don't have any blood brothers, but my brothers that I call brothers, I'm like we pull
Right.
away. Like I guess no news is good news, I guess. And then finally we like ring the phone. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, well, we just been busy. Um,
Hmm.
but to say the least, there, that's great that you guys had that connection and that bond, and you kind of help each other throughout um, the journey of playing in sports, and now, like you say yourself, coaching. And then you can teach and help navigate the next generation that's coming through, or the next wave of individuals that's coming through the wave. Now, look, we'll get right into it. I got a few more moments on here before I let you go. Talking about baseball and how it went through not only just the playoffs. I mean, we've seen the Astros didn't beat any trash cans this year. They didn't get the win anything. They got shut down in that round. But looking into the World Series, did you think that would play out the way it did? I mean, last night I thought we could see a little bit more games, but they said no.
Um, it was one. I think it was really shocking to see the D-backs play as well as they did. I do think they have a good team, but at the same time, them being a young core and going against a veteran team as in the Texas Rangers is definitely difficult feat to accomplish. Um, but for me, I wanted both to win. Um, I had the Rangers. I thought they had enough veteran bats. I thought they had enough bullpen pitching to be able to finish it off in a 7-game series. So that I think the Rangers were my choice, and it didn't surprise me. They were playing really good baseball at the time, and whenever a team has offense like that, and they can connect and work towards one goal, then they're more than likely going to give themselves a good chance to win.
Oh, for sure. 'Cause, I mean, the first game went back and forth and went into extra innings, and I'm going, okay, this may be interesting. But when you get that fiery game, the first one, you kind of go, are they going to be winded in the next game? Like that's a long.
Right.
Then you have to go the next day and turn back around. And if you, like you said, don't have that strong bullpen in there to help relieve you, you're like, oh, this game's gonna be ugly, which it turned ugly
Yeah.
for the second game. And then you wound up in the next one, and it got closer and closer. And then obvious last night that the shutout and that 2-2 pitch, sending them guys home. I mean, I like that
Mhm.
Rangers one. I love that the coach came out of retirement and he said that the buck doesn't stop there. Like he had it set from out of retirement that I'm going to
Right.
come and get what's mine. So you came, you
I can
thought,
see it.
so for sure on that. Now looking into that, look, we talked about that. That kind of concludes that. But I got one more thing for you before I let you go. What is some advice that you would give to young athletes, not even the guys that you're just coaching, but the young athletes that's watching here, the parents to go tell, or the next coach to go tell those little leaguers, hey, or not even a little leaguer, it starts with little league, but anyway around the ranks, what would you tell them? Just advice.
Just don't give up on your dreams. And give whenever you do something, give it your best. And all you can do is give it your best. Give yourself a good chance. Give yourself a good effort. Um, and believe in yourself. Because nobody's gonna believe in yourself more as much as you are. And there's gonna be plenty of times where people are not gonna believe in what you believe. And and it's your job to prove them wrong and prove yourself right. So try to really master the mental game, master the physical game as well, so you can prepare yourself any kind of way that sees fit.
Perfect, perfect. That's great word of advice. Like I asked him each of them. Each of them gave me some great advice too. Like I kind of matching these things up. You'll see a video come out later about just the words of advice. I mean, from older individuals that played the sport, they know about it, and then they know what it takes since you've been playing since 5. And the younger individuals are youth. We have to pump it into our youth, like the positivity. So there's so
Hmm.
much things that are going on in each community. And some people like to label certain ones, but I'm like, every community has their issues. If we get positive role models back into the communities where they hear the word that needs to be heard, the
Right,
positivity, they can get there.
right.
It's just a lot in the society, but I'm not going to go there. That'll be a different day, a different topic, guys. But look, hey, it's been a total blast. Look, that's Jacob Heyward on the other side of the screen. That's the wrap. Again, Jacob, we are extremely grateful for you coming out today. As always, it's a blast to connect with you. And anything, as always, seeing you only play and then now being coach. I had to come probably catch a game. I'll figure it out. I don't know. I'll get a ticket somehow.
For sure.
Just out there, see what your coaching is like. I got to see it. I know it's gonna be great. Hey, but guys, on the other side of the screen, that's Jacob Heyward. We're grateful for him coming out again, like I said, and he joined us tonight. That's a wrap for Good Got Your Entertainment. And as always, folks, it's a pleasure to entertain you through your devices. As you can check us out not only on Facebook, Instagram, you can check us out actually on YouTube and all the major platforms around. That's where you find your podcast. And from your cast of Good Got Your Entertainment, I'm your host, Good Got Your Entertainment, and Trust Good saying good night, so long, and see you next week.